On the 13th, the British Royal Air Force's fighter jets assisted Israel in shooting down several Iranian drones and missiles. Reports stated that before the drones reached any towns, they had already been locked on and shot down by these fighters. The Allied fighter jets, along with Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system, neutralized 99% of the threats. A British source mentioned that it was the Americans who took the lead in coordinating this plan. Furthermore, according to a report by the Global Times, on the 14th, the Iranian English-language television stated that at least 10 countries had assisted Israel in countering Iranian missile and drone operations. These reports indicate that during the drone and missile attacks launched by Iran against Israel on the evening of the 13th and the early hours of 14th, countries including the United States and the United Kingdom were already involved, jointly shooting down and intercepting Iranian drones and missiles. Therefore, should a war break out between Iran and Israel, it would likely see many Western nations, led by the United States, deploying troops to assist Israel. On the other hand, when we look at Iran, the identifiable forces that could offer assistance include the Lebanese Hezbollah, the Yemeni Houthis, the Syrian government, and the Shiite militia groups in Iraq. However, the capabilities of these forces are far too weak and even arguably negligible. Of course, the United States doesn't wish to ignite a third point of war currently. With Russia and Ukraine engaged in conflict and the ongoing strife in Gaza or the spillover effects in the Red Sea, the situation is already volatile. If Iran were to act now, when America's seniors are preoccupied with elections, they wouldn't be interested. Israel is eager to drag America into the conflict to alleviate its own dire situations. But any action by Israel must be in coordination with the U.S. Turning our attention to Iran, it's evident that they cannot overpower the United States, let alone a coalition involving the U.S., Israel, the U.K., France, the EU, and even Jordan. This assembly is led by the United States and is a formidable force. The U.S. has stated that it does not seek a conflict with Iran. Considering the reverse possibility, wasn't it said that Iran wouldn't dare to strike Israeli territory? Yet Iran attacked an Israeli intelligence center and an Air Force base, inflicting substantial damage on the Negev in the south, an area considered to have one of the desert's most important air bases. The New York Times reported that Iran launched 185 drones, 36 cruise missiles, and 110 surface-to-surface missiles from over 2,000 kilometers away, targeting Israeli soil, a significant scale indeed. This defied the notion that Iran would not dare to strike Israeli territory. Following the attack, Israel struggles to contain its impulses, while U.S. President Biden urges restraint, saying one should not act impulsively. The UN has convened an emergency meeting in light of these recent military actions. Iran's military strike was a retaliatory message, remaining unresponsive for more than 10 days to illustrate that their response was based on the principles of the UN Charter. Why was the Iranian embassy in Syria bombed for no apparent reason, causing Israel to shut down 28 embassies abroad? Yet Iran's attack was on Israeli soil, not one of its foreign embassies. This Iranian action is well-founded, supported by Article 51 of the UN Charter concerning the right to self-defense, signifying a lawful response. What's more symbolic is that the Iranian drones flew over the Temple Mount, leaving a trail of white smoke, a significant action that most people wouldn't imagine possible, a tremendous humiliation for the Israeli people. I have visited the Temple Mount, a site of about 200 acres filled with religious relics from Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, all treasured and fiercely protected by their respective followers. According to Israeli claims, King Solomon constructed a grand temple on the mount around 970 BC to worship and offer sacrifices to the principal deity of Judaism, which also housed various artifacts. After the Babylonians occupied Jerusalem and razed the temple in 586 BC, the temple was rebuilt by King Herod in the 1st century BC, only to be destroyed again by the Romans in 70 AD. What remains is the western wall on the southwest side of the Temple Mount, a significant historic and religious site. The Israeli people naturally wish to claim sole ownership over the Temple Mount, hence fueling the escalating Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Back in the year 2000, the Israeli defense minister, a rather portly man, visited the Temple Mount, inciting outrage within the Islamic world and resulting in intense animosity, which led to the outbreak of conflict. The Iranian drone flying over and, especially, at such a low altitude over the Temple Mount is intolerable for the Israelis. Both sides are now engaged in discussions, while the military action also intertwines with battles of public opinion, politics, and religion, entering a state of mixed warfare. Iran claims that more than half of the missiles and drones hit their targets, to which Israel and its supportive U.S. propaganda machine counter by insisting that most of the munitions were intercepted outside Israeli territory. Initially, they claimed most were intercepted, but lacking face. They quickly announced that 99% and then 100% were intercepted. As for Iran, after withholding action, they now assert self-defense according to the principles of the UN Charter. At this juncture, the United States hopes for a peaceful resolution. What will be the next development in this situation? Please share your perspective with us in the comments. Thank you all for watching.